Hello everyone, you join me for this weekend's boxing and you probably think, what a peculiar position you're in. And you'd be right. However, my phone's on charge. I just watched Constitution Hill. I guess Lossiemouth was the winner, so I watched Lossiemouth. Cameron Vong, if you're watching this, I did tell you. I don't like to be a know-it-all, do you know what I mean? But to be honest, it wouldn't be a race I'd have ever bet on. But good to be right, told you. Anyway, moving on. A great weekend boxing, actually. Two very good shows on. And a plethora of boxing shows up and down the country, amateur and pro. We will start with probably the biggest show of the weekend, which is at the Co-op. We have two Olympic medalists facing off at heavyweight, Joyce, Hergovic. Now, 3 years ago, when Joe beat Parker and Hergovic was undefeated, this would arguably have been one of the biggest heavyweight fights that could have been made. It would have been massive, two future heavyweight champions. Now we have a Joyce that everyone thinks shouldn't be boxing anymore against Hergovic, who there has to be massive question marks over. Not the Dubois fight, I'm talking McKean and Zhang. I started to think, right, is this fella all that he's all like we're told he is? I think it's an interesting fight. Joyce, now first of all, should he still be boxing? Now for me, if the boxing board approve him, and the boxing board is stringent, I'll be honest, they are stringent. He's getting harder and harder to pass a medical, and I'm all for it. If he's still passing his medicals, and Joe feels like he can still compete, and if we haven't it right, he's only been beat by Zhang and Chisora. It's not low-level stuff. 5 fights ago, he beat one of the main men, Parker, so people have told me loads over the years, pack in, retire, you ain't got it, you finish, you this, your speech is gone. Fuck off. But I've not seen Joe for a long time. Joe is an old mate of mine. Nice fella. And you know what? Smart fella as well. Good bloke. So I would never tell him to stop. It isn't my place. I do get irritated by people. People who say to me all the time, you're this and that. And I think, I'm not. So for me, I can see the frustration. It is frustrating. People say, oh, you finished, your speech is gone, you're this and that. And for me personally, I think, fucking hell, from Donny, fuck off. This is what we all sound like. Just fuck off. So for Joe, this weekend will tell us a lot. If Hergovic beats him, I think it's all over for him. If Joyce beats Hergovic, I think it's over for Hergovic as well, to be honest. The Zhang fight, obviously Zhang, at the time I had question marks over Zhang. Zhang went on a great run. The McKean one, I thought, wow, took 12 rounds to stop McKean. McKean's a good fella and decent fighter, a big strong man, but Hergovic should have been getting him out of there quick time. The Demori fight was a waste of time, and then Dubois just beat him into submission, really. So I think it's interesting, and people will probably be shocked, but I'm going to go for a Joe Joyce win. His punch resistance, I think Zhang was all wrong for him. A world-class southpaw, all wrong for him. The Chisora fight, I couldn't see Joyce losing to Chisora, sorry. I've done this on a Thursday. The weigh-in will probably tell us a lot more. Joe, for some reason, Joe turned pro against Ian Lewis in 18-3. He weighed in at the Zhang fights, 20 stone 1. The first fight was 18-4, to be fair. But 20 stone 1, Cash Ali 20 stone 6, Chisora 20 stone 1. If Joyce weighs in over 20 stone, what's the point? There is no point. I know he's not the fastest, but you carrying that extra weight about is no good for him. I think he should be under 19 stone, and if he's not, he's going to struggle. But if he comes in fit and ready, I think he'll beat Hergovic. I think he'll beat Hergovic on points, and people will probably say you're mad. And I'll probably end up being wrong, but if Joyce comes under 19 stone, I think he'll beat Hergovic. Hergovic just does not seem interested. Whereas Joyce is still as game as fuck, to be honest. So, and I hope Joe wins, because I'll tell you something, he is a nice fella. Hergovic, I don't know. But as always, I'm sure he is a nice fella. Undercard, Adelaide, Jamie TKV been kicking off booting tables about today. Good. Adelaide, look, on paper and what I've seen, Adelaide I think will stop TKV. Adelaide's good. Very good athlete, good puncher. gone with Adam Booth, which can only be a positive. Adelaide's good. Yeah, he's good. He hasn't necessarily beat anybody. Dake is probably his best win. Apart from that, he's very weak-looking resume. But he looks good. He seems to have a bit of everything, actually. I think he is really good, but I think he needs a bit more. Beating TKV, Dakers, and the other wins he's got, and talking about him being world class. Maybe he will go on to be, but right now he's a long way off. I think he beats TKV. He was a very good, solid fighter. I don't think he has to change of gear, TKV, and I think against Adelaide that will be his undoing. Adelaide, it's hard. I think Adelaide will stop him, and then Adelaide, hopefully, I guess he'll either watch Fraser Clark or the winner of me and Johnny Fisher. All good fights, I think. So yeah, I'm going to go Adelaide stoppage, but a good fight though. TKV is a good fighter, to be fair. Good amateur for a long time. He's good fight. Then Rafferty, Corey O'Regan. Rafferty on a great run. O'Regan though, probably not well known to many. Never done a 10-rounder. Fantastic boxer, O'Regan. I watched him at Leeds Arena. Who would he have boxed on a Warrington undercard? He was fantastic. He was. He doesn't punch, and he isn't a big 10-stoner. And that will be an issue against Rafferty. O'Regan's one of the best pure boxers I've watched in a long time. Beautiful to watch, a fantastic boxer. But now you get title level, you have to have something to put him off. Will he keep out of Rafferty's way for 12 rounds? Probably not, to be honest. If Rafferty's done the weight and he's not struggling, I think he'll stop O'Regan, who is a fantastic talent, but not sure he has the physicality for that level. But we will find out. Next up, we have Khalil Majid, Alex Murphy. Khalil Majid is 14-0. I watched him a few times. I wasn't impressed, but he did a good job on Tom Farrell. He fights Alex Murphy. Alex Murphy I've seen in the gym doing bits of sparring. He sparred Joe Howth a lot. He sparred Cameron Vong. What weight is this at? Doesn't give me the weight. Murphy's a good tidy boxer. He's really neat and tidy. But again, physicality will be an issue, I think. Probably going Majid. Then we have Jürgen Oldadaj against Gerardo Malado. Oh, I watched that fella, actually, and he got beat on a Matchroom show, didn't he? Yeah, not much to write home about, I don't think. Don't know much about him, and the opponent doesn't look fantastic, to be honest. 3 stoppage defeats, yeah. Royston Barney-Smith fights Cesar Ignacio Paredes, another Barney-Smith win. Mark Chamberlain's back against Miguel Angel Scaringi, probably another Chamberlain win. Nelson Birchall, one of the Birchall brothers, very, very good. He fights a fella, looks like a tough Argentinian. Again, a Birchall win. Interest now for the Jamie and Nice from the gym. Alpha Middlemiss fights Alexander Morales. Alpha Middlemiss 2-0. His dad was on Coronation Street. Every time I ever mention him, I get that one in. Alpha's good. He's only a baby, but he's neat and tidy. He's good. He's a good little fighter. But again, should win. We then got Olympian Delicious Hori against Milos Veletic. I've heard about Delicious Hori, actually. I've heard he's a fantastic athlete, but I don't think any questions will get answered against this fellow. He's 3-7. He's boxed in the UK a few times. He had a win last time. It's a 1-0 fella, but this is an Olympic representative, so he should have nothing to come really. Starting over 4 rounds, which is interesting. I think this Delicious Hori, I've not seen him, but I've been told like he might do alright, but he doesn't. Boxing's not natural to him. He's an athlete turned boxer, so be interesting. He was a big fella. I wish him all the best. Then we've got Ramtin Musa, who I've heard good things about on the GB squad. He fights Robbie Chapman, probably the best journeyman in the UK. And to finish off the bill, we have Louis Zeto against Nabil Ahmed. And Nabil Ahmed is actually probably one of the best journeymen in the country as well. He's down at the lighter weights, but he always gives people a fight. So that's a very good bill, and I very much look forward to watching it. I think Joyce will win. I think Rafferty will win. I think Majid will win. Adelaide. Good fights at the top of the bill. The rest of the card is full of top-class talent who look to be beating up fellas who haven't got a prayer of beating them. But that is boxing. And overall, it's a good card. It's a solid card. Joyce Hergovic, like I said a couple of years ago, would have been absolutely massive. Right, moving on to tomorrow's card at your call, GBM Sports on DAZN, topped by Bradley Ray and Daniel Blender dos Santos. Brad, I was in the gym with Brad Monday, actually. I took one of my lads over sparring to Blackpool, and he was just saying, like, nothing's really happening for me. You know, training well, Andy Abril trains him. Very good coach. Doesn't get the recognition he deserves because he brought some fantastic kids through. Does a brilliant job. And he was like, I was waiting for something. And 5 hours later, I went into the traffic centre. I was seeing a mate of mine said, Brad Ray might be fighting for the European title. I thought, fucking hell, life is mad. This is a winnable fight. Dos Santos has won the European title against Tom Jaremski, no idea myself, and defending against Thomas Farr, who we are familiar with as he was boxing in the UK, got stopped by Boatsy in 4. I think Bradley Ray can win this. The notice obviously is worrying, it isn't ideal, but if Brad Ray is ever going to win a European title, even on 2 days' notice, 3 days' notice, this is going to be it, to be honest. But Brad Ray, he can punch Brad Ray, and I'm intrigued by it. I like Brad, and I hope he does it. Chief support, I think, on paper, will be Crocker-Bradley, which is a very good fight. 50-50, Ben Crocker 40-0, takes on Tanner Bradley 10-0. Coming off the back of 2 wins against Stelios Papadopoulos. I've seen Crocker a few times, actually, early on in his career, but it's Evgeny Vazem. I keep my eye on these. And Crocker, I wasn't sure how good he was when I watched him. But he's off the back of some good wins, and now he fights Bradley. I guess Bradley will be in the home corner, even though he's the challenger. Bradley, he beat Kurt Jackson, and Kurt Jackson can fight, so Bradley can't be bad. Winner stays on, I guess. The loser of this, not sure where there is to go for him, but the winner can be in some big fights at 10 stone. Emma Dolan, Lauren Parker's a good fight. Emma Dolan, I think, is pretty good, to be honest. I think she will take some beating down at that weight for the British and Commonwealth. Lauren Parker, I couldn't say I'm overly familiar with her. She looks to have some decent wins. And she stopped Kira Carter, who, although Kira Carter is winless in 15, hasn't been stopped much. So, a good fight, because Dolan's good. Dolan is good. Good competitive fight. Then we go Malloy, Ricardo Crepaldi. Crepaldi looks tough. Malloy 10-0 with that amateur experience, should be way beyond this. I'm actually commentating on the show tomorrow, so tune in to watch and listen to me if that's your thing. Huey Fury, Dan Garber. I spotted Dan Garber years ago. Dan Garber, he'd be a good test for young pros. Garber, he's big and awkward. Big, awkward fellow, and he's not bad at all. He's got a bit of experience. But if Huey Fury wants to be on the world stage and mention Joshua's of the world, he has to get this fella right in one. That's the top and bottom of it, in my opinion. Finishing up the bill, Ed Hardy, Grannis Kraus, who actually looks very, very good. I watched him at Magna last time. He looks really, really good. Lily wins against Valgerde Goodstein-Dottir, which actually means her dad is called Goodstein. Don't know if you know that, but in Iceland, they put Dottir on the end, and whatever the father's name is goes before, and that becomes their surname. And with son, you put son on the end, and whatever the father's first name is, you add that to the front. So I had a Good Johnson. His dad was called Good John. Anyway, he played for Chelsea back in the day. Then we have Louis O'Doherty, who actually is quite a good kid, I think, lightweight, super lightweight, or lightweight. I thought it was a lightweight. He's also in action. So a good card. I'm looking forward to Brad Ray. In terms of predictions, I think Crocker might beat Bradley, to be honest. I think Crocker is better than off first fought. I think Dolan will win. And I'm going to go for the Brad Ray win, I hope. Huey Fury Garber. I'm hoping Huey comes out and really makes a statement and gets that big fight that he wants. Elsewhere in the UK this weekend, we have a show at Chelsea Football Ground. I think there's a few England against America fights on there. Some good fighters on. Lucas Rory, George Groves, Cruiserweight is on. Indabasi, Harvey Horn. Some good fights on there. There's a show at the Devonish Complex in Belfast. And last pro show at Rainton Meadows. Travis Waters in action. Travis Waters is not bad. He's dangerous. Ben Reese is on. Sean Huddart, familiar with them. There's a kid on from Forest Hall, Lewis Ganelli, I remember him from Forest Hall. That's at Rainton Meadows. Now, to finish off this weekend's boxing, at the Spice Ball Leisure Centre in Banbury, these are the pre-quarter-finals, I believe. Yeah, they are the pre-quarter-finals. So, Saturday, if you want to watch a fantastic day-night of boxing, look no further than Banbury, which I believe is near Oxford. I was down there, actually, for the schoolboys a few years ago. I had a losing finalist. To this day, I still thought he won. We lost to a Reptic in the final, 41. Anyway, names that stand out to me. Obviously, a few of the big names go straight into the quarterfinals. Fred Pullen in action. Dylan Lindley from Bermontoffs. He's a local lad. Brad Casey and Henry Marshall from Legions. Kieran McDade, Joe did a bit of sparring for me. He's a good fighter. So yeah, these are all fighting for a place in the quarterfinals of the ABAs. I don't think the ABAs are what they were, to be honest. The touch on winning. If you won the ABAs 25, 30 years ago or more, you were the big dog, you were the man. But these days, it's lost a bit of its shine, I think, which is a shame, really. Whoever wins the ABAs this year, any ABA champion deserves an unbelievable amount of respect. It's something I wish I would have done. I went in and won, got beat in the quarterfinals. So yeah, good luck to all of them. Whoever wins them will be very, 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 very good. I'm on some early predictions of a few champions. Hamilton Patrick Joyce at 60 kg. I think he'll win them. Who else do I think will win them? Put my neck on the line here. I might just stick with that one because I'm pretty confident in that one. But yeah, Brad Casey might have a sneaky outside chance. Is that at 86? I hope he does. Nice kid, Brad. Yeah, they're me two. I'm gonna go for them two actually. Yeah. Anyway, Spice Ball Leisure Centre in Banbury. Well worth going for a watch. That'll be a good day's boxing. So yeah, that's this weekend's boxing. 5 shows on Your Call Friday night, Chelsea Football Ground Friday night, and Saturday at the Co-op, the big show with Joyce and Hergovic, the Devonish Complex in Belfast, and also Rainton Meadows, obviously up Sunderland way, Horton Spring. So that is this weekend's boxing. Thank you for watching.